This is a story about how I went from a probation officer to a solo beauty entrepreneur in less than a year. In 2000, I was 6 months pregnant and they wanted to pay me $28,000 for the year. It just didn't work. I had a 1-year-old at home, and basically my entire paycheck was going to putting her into daycare. And so we needed to find a different option. I decided to look into getting my certification for eyelash extensions. I had always gotten eyelash extensions, and I really loved how they made me feel. I liked the industry, and I thought that it would be a great idea or a great way to make some extra money. So I signed up for a course for eyelash extensions. I had to borrow some money from my husband's mom. She wrote me a check for $500. My course was $300, and the extra $200 I used for supplies. When you jump into something and you don't really know what you're getting into, for me anyway, I dive in head first, and I try to educate myself on absolutely everything and anything within that industry. So I jumped on all these Facebook groups, and I was learning about eyelashes and eyelash extensions and everything I needed to know, and I started making little aftercare kits for these clients, all these clients I didn't have yet. And I started making these little lash wands. And it's crazy because I did my very first set and I posted that online, and I didn't get any reactions. It was like crickets. And so, that kind of was discouraging. And when I posted these lash wands, I got a lot of awesome feedback from that. And so I was like, oh, wow, awesome, and so I kept making them, and people kept replying to them. And, one thing grew to another where I didn't have time to take clients or make clients because I was making lash wands. I was making lash wands. People were placing orders for these little wands. And, the person that I actually took my eyelash training from, she was my very first big client. She placed an order for 300 wands, which were $1 at the time. And so that was $300. And that was more than half of my investment back that I had put in to get my certification. My brain started going, and I was like, how can I make this my side hustle? How can I make this enough to help support my family? That was my goal, was to make enough to support my family so I could stay at home with my babies and pay the bills. So my husband and I sat down, we crunched the numbers, and we said, as long as I sold 500 wands a month, we were good. We would be able to pay the bills. Well, 500 wands turned into 1,000 wands, turned into 2,000 wands, turned into my husband being able to quit his job and stay at home with the babies, and our business taking over the entire downstairs of our basement, and then us needing to move and grow, and now we're at a brick and mortar. We have a salon, we have an e-commerce website, and a retail store, and it all started with a little lash wand. So I never really thought that this would turn into more than a side hustle. I would wake up waiting for the sales to kind of stop. My husband and I both, were planning on what to do after this. And after this never came. But the more that I've grown in this business, the more that I've kind of been able to push that aside and know that now what, instead of, what if. It's kind of awesome that it's come full circle now with me in this industry, where I used to be the person that would reach out to people to try to collaborate and, get expertise from people. And now people are reaching out to me, and I'm so thrilled and happy to be able to help other lash artists and brand owners through this journey where you could learn from my mistakes. It's a really great opportunity to be in. I've always been a tomboy. I've always been known as sassy or too much or too big, or my personality is just too much for people. And I've always struggled with that. I've always felt like I needed to kind of put myself into this little box. Being in this industry with all these women has really empowered me to know it's okay to not have to put myself into that box. To be able to, have that mom guilt or push the boundaries of what you're supposed to be in this world and in this industry. I have a business. I have 2 businesses. I have 3 kids. I have lots of things that you're not supposed to have as a woman, and I think I'm kicking ass at it. My advice for you that has worked for me so far would be scared and do it anyway. 9 times out of 10, you might fall on your face, but you learn from that, and then you get up and you improve it. I'll tell you, I've probably tried and experienced and experimented with 1,000 things for my business that haven't worked, but then you get that one thing that does work, and you've learned from your past mistakes on what not to do, and all you do is grow. And so yeah, you're gonna fall down, and you're not gonna be 100% perfect any amount of the time, but that's how you grow, and that's how you turn it into something amazing. So my goal of this business is to be able to have a community of lash artists where you can get on Instagram or Facebook and ask questions. If you're just starting out, you have a question about glue or lashes or anything, that we're here for you, that you're able to ask those questions, we're able to answer them. You're in Georgia or wherever we may have another retail store, and you can come in and try your tweezers and get advice or take a class. I want it to be something where you have a question, you know exactly where to go, and that's here, Beautiful Wands.